rushing, so I'm starting filming in the train station. We're on our way to Studio Ghibli Museum. We are really feeling it though at the end of this trip. Like, we've been here 5 days of like constant activity pretty much, so feeling it a little, so we're in a rush, but we'll make it just on time. Here we are in Mitaka. Very nice, even though it's rainy. We were very lucky to get these Studio Ghibli tickets. I was up for about 40 minutes trying to get them online. I got really lucky. They sold out only about an hour after I ordered, but yeah, it took forever to get it because the servers crash when you try. It's not the best way to do it, but it saves you about £50. I'm not joking, it's about $110 if you do it manually from the Japanese website. Totoro-chan. Konnichiwa. But that's not the entrance. We have to keep going. Hello! Konnichiwa. Now, just as a heads up, no cameras are allowed inside Studio Ghibli. It's very mysterious, but there's only glowing reviews, so I'm sure I'll have a wonderful time. We're lining up to go inside now. So pretty! Again, I won't be able to film inside. We're gonna get some really cute tickets. It's pretty rainy. I can actually hear Japanese crickets. Okay, so hi there! It's Peachie! From the future! So yeah, this is going to be a weird kind of vlog today because I'm going to have to voice over footage I took because, like I just said, in the Studio Ghibli Museum you're not allowed to take any photos or videos inside the actual building. That's actually to the point that you aren't even allowed to have your phone on. So yeah, I'll just talk about our experience while I show you footage of all the lovely gardens and stuff on the outside of the museum, which you are perfectly allowed to take photos and videos of. Now I will say, at the time I had no idea, but I went back to Japan this year and I was so lucky to go back to the Ghibli Museum, so I took some more videos and footage around to help with this video. And it's really funny because it was the exact same time of year and the exact same weather, so you can't even tell the difference except when you see a switch of outfits, so you see the mister in the background. I wish I could hug him. I'll go like this. Personally, I think the way that they don't let you take photos or videos or have your phones on in the museum really does reflect the original Ghibli kind of concept and feel. And honestly, at this point in the trip, 17 days in, it was really nice to just have an excuse to not vlog. Even though I love vlogging, it was just nice to have a break from that and not think about filming everything. It really forces you to enjoy the moment and try so hard to keep those memories, which is a bit of a shame for some tourists. They may only be able to go once in their life, but I do respect the idea as well. It really helps envelope you in the more natural world of Ghibli. Now obviously, because I'm not showing what's inside, you're not going to be spoiled for anything. I will talk briefly about some of the movies I saw, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. But yeah, because of the nature of this vlog, there's barely going to be any spoilers for those who are planning to go soon, you know, within the next year or so. So yeah, when we went into the museum, I handed in a printout of my booking. You're only allowed to book to go in there. It's very exclusive. You can't just go. It's really hard to book, but I'm not going to go into a guide about that. This video is my personal vlog and there's tons of better guides and stuff for that already. But yeah, anyway, I handed in my printout and once I got to the counter, they gave each of us this adorable little like ticket, which is styled like a film reel from the animations of Studio Ghibli. And actually each one is unique and they're randomly from a random scene or shot from any of the Ghibli movies. movies, so unfortunately you can't choose which one you get, obviously, but I hope you get a good one if you go. My first one I got was from Howl's Moving Castle. You'll see it at the end of the video. The one I got this year was also another scene from Howl's Moving Castle, and it was actually a proper kind of scene going on with people. I don't know if you can see there is like one of the star children or something from the sky falling towards them. I think it's towards the end of the movie of Howl's Moving Castle. So when we got in, the place really feels like a proper old-timey building, like something perfectly from one of those Ghibli movies, especially that era Ghibli tends to focus on, which is about 1930s Japan, just before World War II, so it's very romanticized, old-style Japan with a lot of Western influence. The first room we went into was kind of like the main exhibit, the one that doesn't change, which kind of showcases all these beautiful ways that animation has evolved over time, from like the very first early examples of animation with those kind of rotating light boxes that you spin really fast to get a moving image, and shadow puppetry and stuff like that, all the way to like you can actually see a film reel moving across the room and projecting it onto the wall with a light projector. It's just beautiful and had a very hushed atmosphere. Everyone was very respectful and enchanted, and that really was most of the feeling of the whole building. It was just lovely. So it's like a museum in that you are learning things and there are things on display, but there are also some more modern museum concept of being able to like interact with things and see things for yourself in different ways. And the main attraction really at the Ghibli Museum is something called the Saturn Theatre, which is like a cinema. And what absolutely blows my mind is this little theatre in the Ghibli Museum has an entire range of Ghibli animated cartoons, about 15 minutes long each, like little shorts, that were made exclusively for the Ghibli Museum. There is no other way to see them in the world. They have never been released on DVDs or streamed online, on like services. It is only visible inside the museum. What's even more mind-blowing is you're only allowed to see that movie once per month. And in that month, you're only allowed to see it once per day. It absolutely blows my mind that they put so much effort into making these movies just for this little museum. It's just so sweet. And in a way, it's such a shame that other people can't see it, but I think again it adds to that magic of Ghibli and that things are special and supposed to be cherished. I totally understand why some people complain, but I also feel it does fit the Ghibli concept. And on that note, I do have to say that the Ghibli Museum isn't really very accessible to people outside of Japan, but obviously tons of tourists go. It's very popular if you're lucky and able to go. But aside from being given an English map of the area, which is a little kind of small guide to show you how to get around, there isn't like any English text or English dub or subtitles or anything in the movie and any of the exhibits on any kind of text boxes on things that you could learn about stuff. So do bear that in mind. You're mostly just going to be wandering around wondering what on earth is going on, and maybe that's part of the mysticism for some people. So if you go to see the movie, they will actually stamp your little ticket, and that means once you've seen that movie that day, they won't let you in to watch it again, even though there's multiple showings of the same movie on that day. The Saturn Theatre was so cute because it was styled like the baby room from Spirited Away. Since I first saw that movie, I've always wanted to just chill in that room, just looking up at the big moon and stuff on the ceiling. Unfortunately, there were no giant pillows to flop around on though, that would have made it perfect. So when we went in to see the movie, we were obviously all very hushed and really just sat there taking in every moment. I wanted to like keep my eyes open with little clothespins. I didn't miss a second of it. The movie Jules and I saw was called Borrow the Caterpillar, and that seemed to be one of the newer ones, apparently. I think this is one Miyazaki wanted to do if Ponyo didn't get chosen to be made. I don't want to talk too much about a movie because I feel like I'm ruining something sacred a little bit, but I will at least show some of the screenshots that were shown in the books that you could buy, so they clearly don't mind people showing some screenshots if they're from a merchandise or whatever. And it's basically, think of Bug's Life, but much more microscopic, and of course it's all in the Ghibli animation style. And the way they kind of emphasised it was really unexpected. There was no sound and no music, not even any atmosphere sounds. I kid you not, it was all entirely dubbed by one guy just making all the sound effects and everything. I'm not joking, it was like buzz and hum. I'm not joking, that was the whole audio for the movie. And I know I'm not selling it, and we're all a bit confused and kind of what about it? Like, what's going on? What is this? But genuinely, it makes so much sense as it goes along because it makes the world feel so much more overwhelming, being this bug. Everything's so loud, and even the smallest thing is all just very big. But my favourite part was the bug eating like this jelly-like substance, which is probably supposed to be chlorophyll from like leaves, the jelly stuff inside leaves. And for some reason, Ghibli just, as always, managed to make their food look so good. Even this weird leaf jelly that this caterpillar was eating. Now, because Jules and I had been in a rush that morning, we were recovering from a massive day at Disney Sea. Even though we had a later slot at, we're allowed in from 2 p.m, we were still getting lost a bit trying to get to the Ghibli Museum, and she hadn't had a chance to eat properly. So we went to the Ghibli Museum restaurant, which is really cute, but I would actually recommend don't do that because we were waiting ages to get in, just sitting there. And then when we got there, the food wasn't that great. It's not like a theme cafe. There's definitely got a feeling to it. It feels kind of Ghibli, but honestly, you'll waste so much time. And if you've got limited time, like we had 4 hours there, and I'd say that's not enough if you want to like take your pace and look at everything. That basically took a bit over an hour of our time waiting, then getting in there, ordering our food, waiting for our food to come, eating it. I obviously can't show because we were inside, which means I can't take photos when we're eating inside. There is a small cafeteria on the outside where you can get a quick snack and a drink that you can eat outside and you're allowed to take photos there. It was closed that day for some reason. It wasn't the second time I went. But yeah, in the restaurant I had a porco rosso soup, which surprisingly was vegetarian, I think. It was so hard to tell. I have to say though, I'm really glad I had dessert there. So even though it took a really long time to eat there, I got the jelly from the movie we saw. It literally looked just like it, the same colour, and it even tasted exactly like how I imagined. Kind of like the juice you get at the bottom of pre-made salad pots. It was really good. I'm not selling it, but I just couldn't believe I was eating the jelly, just like Borrow the Caterpillar. Now, after that, we went to the gift shop, and unfortunately, we wasted a lot of time there as well. It was so crowded, and it was even more crowded the next time I went, a year later. It's just absolutely packed. I had a feeling that this Ghibli Museum's got too big for its own good, and it really hasn't been able to adapt to having more people, especially more tourists coming in. If you're claustrophobic, you won't want to go in there. I'd actually say don't waste your time there because there's tons of other ways to get Studio Ghibli merchandise in Japan, especially in Kyoto and Tokyo. There's actually Studio Ghibli shops and stalls in places like Kiddieland and Harajuku. But there are exclusive Studio Ghibli Museum things there, and Jules and I really felt like we had friends that would absolutely love to be there, and we were thinking of them. We really just felt like we wanted to bring back something for them from that shop. It was a very cute gift shop. It was just loaded. And my favourite part was there was like this really old kind of antique set of drawers, but there was like, maybe like 50 little drawers, maybe a handspan size each. And when you pulled them open, they were just filled with different keychains or pin badges. And one was just filled with little fluffy Soot Sprite keychains. So we got a bunch of those. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the other galleries inside, but I have to say, once I saw them the second visit, at least I can say thankfully to Jules that even though we needed more time at the Ghibli Museum before closing, she didn't miss the main things, which I'm glad. The main thing was getting to see the movie, the animation room, and lastly, the rooftop garden. So I'll show you that. This is just so lovely. The rooftop garden is all based on my favourite Ghibli movie, Laputa Castle in the Sky. And I'm just, there's the robot from the movie, the ancient robot in the castle in the sky. I don't easily cry with movies at all, but that scene always makes me cry when they meet the robot and he holds out a flower to them. And I couldn't believe I was seeing a real 2-scale robot from the movie, and we got to be with them, and I got to give them a hug, and I was just like, whoa. There are other things up there too, like there was the cube that's used to control the core of Laputa that you see near the end of the movie, and other things like that. It was just really sweet. By the way, even if you don't need to go, definitely check out the bathrooms on the ground floor of the Ghibli Museum. They are so amazingly whimsical. And the girls' bathroom's kind of styled like Kiki's delivery service, and it's got like a bakery theme in the bathroom, which is cute, weird. And it had this amazing giant stained glass piece of art on the wall. It was like an actual window, like stained glass. And apparently when I went with the mister this year, he said the men's room is filled with a theme of the mining from Castle in the Sky, the start of the movie when Potsu's mining. In fact, the stained glass windows, they're all over the Ghibli Museum. These beautiful full colour stained glass windows featuring like various characters and scenes from Ghibli movies. And it's just so sweet and quaint. There's so much love put into this building. Oh, also there was this cute little area indoors that had a giant cat bus plushie from Totoro, and kids could actually go inside the bus and play with it. It's really, really cute. But just to note, in case it wasn't obvious, there is an age restriction on that. It is for very little kids. So if you're a teenager, an adult, or even an older kid, do not try to climb in there or squeeze yourself in. Someone will probably come and try to pull you out. I tried to get a sneaky shot of it from the outside, so technically it's okay, if not a bit cheaty, but it was just too busy. But yeah, that was our day that ended far too soon. We wish we could have stayed longer. 4 hours really wasn't enough for us, and we made some mistakes by not realising how long the restaurant would take, but we did need to eat and stuff like that. The gift shop was just overloaded, stuff like that. We really should have skipped that. But again, it was still just a lovely experience, and we got to see the main things. As a love letter to Ghibli, this I really feel captures the true essence of it, and Miyazaki himself did help with the planning. So the Ghibli Museum is obviously actually a little museum, as you will know, and guys have said it's not a theme park, although there is a Ghibli theme park coming somewhere in Japan in a year or two. But I'm so happy I got to see Totoro in the window, just so cute, right? Now back to vlog Peachie from the past. There, look, do you see? He watch. That was a wonderful, lovely experience. Thank you so much, Studio Ghibli Museum. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Time went so fast in here, by the way. So lovely. Cutest bus. Hi everyone! Filming this a few days after being to Studio Ghibli Museum because again, energy levels were really, really tired at the end of the day this week, but I want to show you what I got at the Studio Ghibli Museum shop. I literally didn't get anything for myself. I've got some little special Studio Ghibli things around my house already. I mostly wanted to bring stuff back for a friend who I knew would just love some stuff, so I got her this little Sit Sprite keychain, and it says Studio Ghibli Museum on the label, so I thought that was a cute souvenir. I got her this pop-up card. This features one of the things you see inside the museum. I don't want to spoil what it is, but this is relative to that, as well as the Laputa movie. But yeah, it pops out. And lastly, I got her some Studio Ghibli Museum memo paper. This is a Totoro in the window, as you will have seen. And it's really, really cute because you can fold it up to make him like the window. And so this is literally my only souvenir from the Studio Ghibli Museum. It's all I really needed. I think this is the best thing to take home. This beautiful ticket. I think this is Howl's house from Howl's Moving Castle. The cottage he makes for Sophie, which is my favourite part of the movie. So I think that was beautiful. But yeah, thank you very much, Studio Ghibli Museum. And afterwards, we had a quick stop at Nakano Broadway because it's on the way home from the Studio Ghibli Museum. We had some time to kill. I did get a few little things, even though I'm being careful with money at the end of our trip. I got this adorable little pecorine keychain from one of these like pre-opened gachapon shops that Nakano Broadway has a lot of, which is awesome. So, you know, if there's one you particularly want, you can get it from there for a good price. Unfortunately, some of the rare ones tend to be more. For example, Hanamaru from Love Live, who is my favourite from Love Live Sunshine, is always the most expensive with everything, which is so funny. But yeah, I also got this cute little Kirby, and he like holds paper for you. He was literally 300 yen, which is about just under £2. And mostly I got stuff for my friends. My Pretty friend again, she really wanted me to get this for her. Found it, not new in box, for some reason I couldn't find it anywhere, but I got that for her anyway. And I got her this little Precure charm as well, because Cure March is her absolute favourite from Smash Precure. Like, out of all the Precure, that's her favourite. And for the Mister, I got him this Danganronpa thing, because I wanted to get him something at Monokuma from Danganronpa, which is a game we both really enjoyed. And he he had different versions where on the back he had different characters from Danganronpa, but he had our favorite, which is the Otaku on the back, and for some reason this one was cheaper than the others, so I was lucky that his favorite ended up being the cheaper Danganronpa charm, even though they're all the same on the front, which is really funny. But yeah, hope you liked that. And yep, that was us for our day at Studio Ghibli Museum and then Nakano Broadway for a short while. I'll say goodnight for now. We're so sleepy. Oyasuminasai.